So here's a separate video, techniques to identify and resolve ethical dilemmas. In some of my question and answer study questions, there was a couple of these right here in these sections where we have essential steps in ethical problem solving. But the paragraph leading up to this says, an ethical dilemma is a predicament when a social worker must decide between two viable solutions, possibly more, but it will only be tested on two, that seem to have similar ethical value. Sometimes two viable ethical solutions can conflict with each other. Social workers should be aware of any conflicts between personal and professional values and deal with them responsibly. In instances where social workers' ethical obligations conflict with agency policy or relevant law or regulations, they should make a responsible effort to resolve the conflict in a manner that is consistent with the ethical values, principles, and standards. In order to resolve this conflict, ethical problem solving is needed. There are 6 steps, and so those steps fall into the category here in the 6. Identify ethical standards as defined by the Professional Code of Ethics that are being compromised. The little bracket here says always go to the NASW Code of Ethics. First, do not rely on supervisor or coworkers. Number 2, determine whether there is an ethical issue or a dilemma. A question that I was studying and putting on one of the videos said, you have determined there is an ethical issue or dilemma, and it was asking what's the next step. Third, weigh ethical issues in light of key social work values and principles as defined by the NASW Code of Ethics. You're back to the NASW Code of Ethics, not to a supervisor, not to a coworker. At some point, you're probably going to let your supervisor know, but you're also going to let your supervisor know in a way that you're telling them with proof, not asking them. Number 4, suggest modifications in light of the prioritized ethical values and principles that are central to the dilemma. Number 5, implement modifications in light of prioritizing ethical values and principles. And lastly, monitor for new ethical issues or dilemmas. So in a sense, that's almost, what's that one? When you're doing a scientific test, the scientific process. Suggest modifications might be theorize, implement modifications, do it, and monitor. And of course, if there anything new rises, we'll be going right back through these steps. If you were to decide, ooh, that raised a new ethical issue or dilemma, right back to number 2. Determine whether there is an ethical issue or dilemma. Number 3, weigh the ethical issues in light of key social work values and principles as defined by the NASW Code of Ethics. Number 4, suggest modifications in light of the prioritized ethical values and principles that are central to the dilemma. Number 5, implement modifications in light of prioritized ethical values and principles. And you're back to 6, monitoring to see if something new comes up. And let's just call this video done and on to the next short video.